Mm. Oh, welcome to the Cafe Nut Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. It is the 19th of March, 2025. Happy Wednesday. We've kind of been a little spotty with the show lately, just because of hours of work and all those things. But glad to be back. We have a few things to touch on, a few things that are a little bit in the past, and a couple things that are moving forward. And of course, we cannot miss Sparklet Wars. Again, this is something that Upland's trying to make a focus between the seasons, make it a real event, make it something that's continuous one season to the next, and move it along, progress along the way. So reminders on the launch of Sparklet Wars, where we are right now, then the actual physical start or the actual true start of Sparklet Wars tomorrow. Passes have been sold, burn windows open now, and then obviously the Wars event does start as of tomorrow. So we'll get into the reminder there. The Wobbler would legits make a return. We'll do a quick on the Wobbler legits, what they are. And they're a sweetener sale by another name. So we'll go over that. USD, you get some UPIX, you get an asset of some sort. And then finally, we got a little bit of touch on this kart racing. Big update on kart racing. Don't want to get too much in depth on it. Again, it is a couple day old announcement, but definitely worth touching on. And I guess we'll touch on the fact that we have this hanging promise, this hope that this is the week we get some more information about Genesis Week 2025 in-person event. This is historically a couple weeks after we get the announcement. There's a lot that goes on with travel. There's a lot that goes on with people taking time off work. And, the more notice, the better for many cases. And the team of Upland, the game of Upland, everybody who's involved does have to put a lot of work to make these events happen. So I'm sure there's reasons why they can't commit too early, but it's a time to get that information out. So for tonight, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. All views and opinions expressed myself, their mind and mine alone, should not be taken as game strategy, financial advice to represent the game of Upland, the team of Upland. Any guest shows we do have, they have their own opinions. They're welcome to them. Should not be taken as game strategy advice, should not be taken as financial advice. Anything they do have to say, they don't represent myself, the goals of the Cafe Show, the team of Upland, or the game of Upland. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of these announcements ongoing today. Over the last day, we got update 1, update 2, update 3, all about Sparklet Wars. And the reason why we're getting these updates is because during the burn period, they have this toggle on, toggle off of who's allowed to burn what passes at what time. And it kind of makes this interesting story that tells us exactly what's happening, or who's being most active, who's not being active, or at least what factions are being most active. So obviously, the burn window kicked off, and when it did kick off yesterday, we did see the Cyborg pass almost immediately after this burn window gets going. We do have a quick lock on the Cyborgs. So for Cyborgs, 84 passes were burnt. This was as of 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday. 84 passes burnt for the Cyborgs. They got paused because they got too far ahead of the other two factions. Crypto Knights were at 39, Purge Pirates were at 31. So the Cyborgs remain paused so other factions could catch up, have more burns, have more participants in the different factions. We saw that this continued on throughout the day with an announcement of a flash challenge. Flash challenge again with the Sparklet Wars. That is going to be a flash challenge that did run into today. So just a flash challenge with a snapshot of Block Explorer supporting the overlay representing your faction. Again, this is a show off, get excited, show off what's going on with Sparklet Wars. And then we did have the announcements that we have a lock for Cyborgs. We have another lock for the Knights, and then we have some unlocks. And really, it is this back and forth, this idea that there are groups, there are factions that are more popular. Upland had this portion or this part of this season or this Sparklet Wars where there was a concept where there was a potential that people would want to switch sides. So Upland has talked about there's an advantage, potential extra prize if you switch sides and then your side wins, or switch factions and then your faction wins. However, it does seem people as though people are competing or trying to work to be in the same factions as they were in the past. The two most popular factions, or most successful last Sparklet Wars, potentially the two most popular as well as successful. You have the Cyborgs getting paused first. The Knights getting paused as well. So you can only burn pirate passes right now. If you have a Knights pass, great, congratulations, you own it. But you can't burn it until we see enough of these pirates passes burn. The kind of idea, if we could imagine it, is that the parity, which is not a bad thing, the parity does preclude some participation, because if there's not enough pirates to burn and you're sitting on a Knight's Pass and you haven't burnt the Knight's Pass yet, you may not get your chance because there may never be enough pirates to burn to catch up. So that's something to keep in mind, something to watch out for. That's kind of something Upland has built into this mix, built into the game itself. There is a little bit of a mechanism to help create. Oh, like George, how you doing, baby? To create a little bit of balance and the parity and all of that. And that does, again, create this idea that it does curtail the number of participants because of the parity. And it also does curtail kind of some of the strategy that's involved there. We're grouping up. This team is the more popular one. These are the people who want to work together. But they have limitations because of what's happening in other groups. So that's kind of an interesting part that we already knew was going to happen to some degree, and we're just seeing it play out. And the kind of interesting thing that we've seen as well over the last couple days, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool that the team has been doing this for the last couple days, or at least get this kicked off here a couple times in the last week, is doing this Wednesday, just regular hangout in the Upland Discord cafe. The cafe has been something that was created with this idea of players just hanging out and spending time. And the Cafe Nightly Show draws its name from the fact that I ran a show that was done daily in the Upland Cafe. Previous to me doing so, the one and only Uplando was ran a show along with him. So this idea of this cafe having a place where players in the game of Upland, in the Upland's Discord cafe, could hang out and talk the game and talk about current events, and that being something that was integral to the experience. I mean, it has a historical basis, and the team is putting this on every Wednesday. This is not a bad thing. I think it would be interesting to see this continue to grow. This was something that they did today the 19th at 7 a.m. PT. So it was kind of interesting. They got that kicked off relatively early, and it is something that that we can continue to see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Upland continue to push out. More and more in the future. It'd be fun to see that be something that gets pushed out there. Again, 7 a.m. East Coast time, 7 a.m. PT, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Not a great time for a lot of people with regular Monday through Friday work schedules, but it's cool that it was something that the team was putting together. So very fun. And again, when we do look back into the announcements of the day, the way the day played out, we can put ourselves at this point now. Cyborgs and the Knights cannot. Cyborgs and Knights could not burn their passes for a while. Everything's opened back up because the Pirates did catch up this afternoon. So keep on burning. You still have the ability to do so from now until they lock them again, which could happen if the parity is maintained, if the balance is not maintained between the three factions. So this is official from yesterday. Again, the burn started yesterday afternoon. So reminder, this does run to the beginning of the day tomorrow. 9 a.m. PT is when the battle officially begins. So the burn period, or the active burn period, the Upland saying that we get the burn period before the actual event starts tomorrow, Thursday, March 20th, 9 a.m. PT is when Sparklet Wars and the event actually kicks off. Couple reminders about this round. Again, this is something we've already gone over a little bit, but a couple reminders about this round. This round is going to be held. There's going to be competing in Las Vegas. This is something that has been changed a little bit as far as some of the rules and the way it's played. The scoring has changed kind of a little bit in that the interaction between the map assets has changed. specifically the cards, and specifically along with those cards, we do see that there is the inclusion of the cards from last season into this season, but their value has changed. The new cards, their value, the way they work has changed. So it is a new dynamic. Again, the basics, the overview. Cards, instead of taking 100% of the points off a structure, it's now 50% of those points. Season 1 cards do 25% of those points. So again, if you held onto a Season 1 card, it has half the effectiveness as a Season 2 card. So keep that in mind when you are going to buy map assets. You can go buy those assets. They don't have the same utility as they once did. Reminder that the burn window is between now and tomorrow morning. Again, 9 a.m. PT. So definitely get in and participate if you are interested in doing so. With a reminder that what's ultimately being played for are points on a daily basis. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 have a different allocation of percentage of points earned overall, and then how they add to the final score depending on what day they are, essentially scaling for the application of those points on a daily basis. Special scoring mechanism, obviously, with ascending value, making the later days in the contest even more important. So strategies moving forward, or building strategies in the early days that can be applied later in the competition. Those are strong strategies to keep in mind. We do have a couple other things that are going to be going on. There is the ability to earn a block explorer. Let's get to it. To earn a block explorer just by following somewhere on the top 25 of your factions list. But ultimately, this is about being part of the faction that wins. That is the name of the game for Faction Wars, and it has been. That's where the prizes actually exist, where a share of a Sparklet airdrop exists. So good luck to everybody who is participating. Key note here, this is iterative. If this is something that there's issues with, or the balance is off, which some would argue, and some may see that there are some mechanisms in the balance of teams, or how people self-selected the teams, that may affect parity a little bit. But this is something that is iterative, as it gets better as more people participate, as Upland works out some of the kinks along the way. Hopefully it is going to be more fun in doing, do more for more people, get more people involved in it. But for today, Sparklet Wars kicks off tomorrow. There's a lot of people who are excited. And what has been the takeaway, I think, from what's been happening over the last several days? A lot of people are joining the same teams they had been in before. They had self-selected in because they wanted to participate with the same people they were participating with, whether they won or they lost. It was a collaborative effort. They worked together in Discord groups. They had conversed on in-game Upland, defined groups for different factions, or they had just joined that faction with people who were their real-life friends, and they wanted to stay with those real-life friends in that faction. So interesting to see that happen, and likely to see that continue to play out this season anyways. We'll see some of the same people working together. Maybe not same results as last season, with the Cyborgs having won last season, but we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. NFLPA Wobblers are back. So a couple points on these Wobblers. First and foremost, yes, they are a USD sale. Yes, they are a sweetener. It is an incentive to buy UPX. You buy the UPX at $20 for 20,000 UPX, which a lot of people argue on the open market is not the value of UPX at this time. 1,000 UPX per dollar. Hard to see that as a return if you have assets, the difference in value between the UPX and the USD. However, these sweetener sales are all about the sweetener you're getting as you're making the choice to buy some UPX in USD. Sweetener this time around I should say, the Wobbler Legits. Wobbler Legits are issued as a total of 3,200, but Upland is selling these different bunches, or releasing these different bunches. 750 of them are available. Sales started today at 9 a.m. PT, today, March 19th. And yes, we have to go and we have to take a look. We have to take a look and see how that sale went, where it sits right now. And it's definitely worth putting out there, and it's definitely worth noting that we had a Terraformer sale recently, and that Terraformer sale, it sat there and it didn't sell out. And historically, the Terraformer sale always had been a sellout. It was $1,000. You buy 1,000,000 UPX, you get a rare, 1 of 5 Block Explorer, and that had been a guaranteed sellout season after season or year after year. And now at this point, it's not the case. Again, the difference between USD and UPX is part of that, possibly. The implied value of Block Explorers, that may have changed a little bit as well. But ultimately, it was something that people have kind of had a little bit of a clock on, that some of these exclusive events or exclusive potential earning opportunities, or earn the chance to get whatever, some of that excitement may change. And here is a what had previously been an immediate sellout, these sweetener sales, these Block Explorer sweetener sales specifically in the past. But this, again, a sweetener sale, you're buying UPX, you're choosing to buy UPX, you have UPX anyways to do blank with, and you're also getting these prizes along the way. Again, the idea, if I take a look here, and 461 and 750 of these still available, means that there are fewer people interested in buying these than there are supply, or at least the pricey point at $20 USD is a little steep for certain people. I mean, there's a lot of people who are willing to and happy to pick up, would be happy to get these wobblers, get these legits if the price were different. However, the price is set where it is. $19.99 is the price. There are currently 460 of one of these still available. Again, $20 gets you 20,000 UPX and this sweetener, this little bonus, this wobbler. And that's what the wobblers look like. It's just an asset, and it looks like a little bit like a little bobblehead. And I love a bobblehead. But the fun of a bobblehead is you flick it, and there's a motion. That motion is boop, 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 boop. And you get to watch that motion. You get to feel that flicker. You get to interact with that. That's what's fun. It's not the picture of the bobblehead. It's the actual movement. It's the wobble. It's the spring. It's the bounce. It's the flick. It's the whatever. But it's the motion. It's the looking at it and seeing it do something. So I don't know. Maybe that's a lack of enthusiasm. I don't know, but it is still available if you're interested in doing so. 460 of them available. So someone just bought one. 460 of those available. $19.99. 750 total was the original release this time around. And again, I've got to give a little props, a little bit of kudos, I guess, a little bit of a tip of the hat to Upland on. If they want to put 3,200 of these, very defined, say there's 3,200 of these available, and then say we're releasing them in bunches, which they did. They've already released one batch, and now this is their second batch. And by doing so, obviously, defined total amount, limited amount released each time. Again, they have that opportunity to generate or help build a little bit of a demand or a market. They have the ability to hopefully not oversaturate that market. This is a fine amount. But as they do these bunches, as they do these sales, potentially building a new market set, or at least letting their market set that exists replenish some of their demand. They want one more wobbler, though they saved up $20 in the last week, and now they're going to get one. If they had, 3,200 of them for sale at the same time, each person probably wouldn't be buying 4, but they could potentially over a longer period of time. So keynotes there, and look, we can't miss it here. Since we're looking at sales, we have to remind ourselves that if you do have a pass and you burn a pass and you want to be part of the action, tomorrow 9 a.m. PT is when these bundle sales kick off. Again, it starts the action, it starts the competition, but that's also when you're going to buy the bundle sale. You have to burn your pass so you can designate what your faction is, and once you've designated your faction, you are eligible to go into one of these sales. Again, you register ahead, you get lucky early in the spot, and you need to buy one of these bundles. $12.99 in each of these bundles. Again, the factions matter, right? Crypto Knights. Did you burn a Crypto Knight pass? Did you burn a Pirates pass? Did you buy a sideboard pass? That's the one you'll be eligible for. But if I take a look, that's cute. If I take a look, you'll see that you're going to get 2 items randomly allocated to items that either map assets, structure ornaments, or a card. So pretty simple, pretty easy. This concept hasn't changed from last season. Again, some of the points and scoring has, but the idea is you get into your faction, you buy the bundle if you choose to do so, and then you go to town. Then you work with your team. Then you make strategies. Then you use those assets in the best ways you possibly can to earn as many points as you can for your team. So looking forward to everything getting kicked off tomorrow. We'll see where the excitement lies. Reminds us that we get to do one thing, or at least I have to do one thing. I might as well do it. And that's burn my pass. I'll get that done and get ready for the start of the competition. We'll see how things go, but it is exciting. And, one things that we can do if we're going to participate in the following season, look at what city you're in and get your properties prepped, get structures built, and maybe you get structure ornaments that fit those structures. Maybe you don't, but it's the idea of being ready for it and kind of participating with your team. And once things get started, that's where the action is, that collaboration between the team, determining the best strategy, and again, executing on it. And then, of course, I've got to take a quick rewind back as a reminder here on some upcoming car updates. So key things in these car updates are a YouTube video here, reminder of these things that are coming. They are not here, so definitely keep your eyes open. We are looking for obstacles, rear view mirrors, and replay changes. These are all going to be happening for karts. Karts, making them a more exciting form of racing. The game of Upland. This is something that we've talked about, or I've been excited about for a long time, and this idea that if you start with parity, if you start with the same speed, the same acceleration, and you put it, make the mechanisms of play, the gameplay more compelling, which Upland's doing right now. You make it more of a competition. You make it more skill-based. You make it more, at least for me, more fun. What you do on the racetrack matters more so than it has ever before. The way the game reacts to your actions, more important than ever before, and and less random. So looking forward to seeing these updates, and again, a more fun racing experience for all of those who are participating. And then we'll get to the last piece. And the last piece, as I said on the top, is I'm looking forward to the announcement here, the announcement of Genesis Week 2025, when, where, how. Again, this is something that the team has said we should expect this week. Oh my gosh, Lily, you are late, but good to see you. No penalties for showing up a little bit late. But this is something that we have seen historically get announced about this time of year. The team of Upland has been asked about this for a few weeks, a few months, maybe, if you choose to remember back to December. But the answer has been, soon. Last week, X1 kind of broke down a little bit when people said, hey, can you please tell me? And he broke down a little bit and gave a little bit of a hint and said, expect it. So, the announcement this week. It's Wednesday. It's over halfway through the week. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that early week that seems like X1 had told people extends into Thursday because, it's early. It's not the end of the week. We'll call it early still. And maybe that's exactly what we'll see. That is the piece to watch my eyes out for beyond Sparklet Wars starting at 9 a.m. PT tomorrow. For tonight, I'm going to say that getting back into things, looking forward to Sparklet Wars, seeing how this gameplay works out. I'll have a lot more excitement once we know more about Genesis Week 2024. We can start looking at the structure of Genesis Week. And Genesis Week's always this, at least for me, this energizer of activity in the game. It's something that makes me want to pursue, continued events, because those events tied around Genesis Week tend to be fun, compelling, rewarding. And of course, there are some events around Genesis Week that kind of support the future of the game. There's been developer contests in the past, so development, building, developing, layer 2 gamification in the past. There's been contests in the past as well, design contests. So I'd like to see how those continue to build And it gives opportunities to talk to creators, to talk to people in the space, to talk to people who are continuing to build out the future of Upland and learn more about their projects and what they're working on. So that is something I'm looking forward to. Let's get the Genesis Week announcement out so we can start planning for Genesis Week. So Upland can say, these are the activities. This is what to expect. This is what we're doing. And even if it doesn't end up being exactly what I want it to be, at least we can plan for it. For tonight, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT in the Upland Discord Cafe on YouTube, on Twitter. We are getting together daily to talk about the daily news, what's happened in the game of Upland over the day, some commentary on it as well. But again, more of what is happening lately, what has happened today, and hopefully, fingers crossed, some good speculation about the future. Maybe tomorrow. Announcement about Genesis Week 2025. Again, thank you so much for being here. As always, if you're in the Upland Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.